Mr. Francisco,
Miss Calzada?
how are you doing today, sir?
Well, I'm not doing too good, I'm still unable to see my child and it's playing a big toll on me. It's kind of hard.
Okay. So I can see that not being able to see your son may be causing you a bit of stress.
Yes, ma'am, it has.
Okay. Well, let's try to work through that and try to make a plan of action, okay? So this is your fourth session here at Family Services, and in your last session we did discuss that you and the baby's mother were having a lot of disagreements, and that was affecting when you would get to see your son and for how long you would get to see him. So I do recall referring you and her to parenting classes. How have those been going?
Well, we recently stopped going because more arguments started popping up, and every time I'll call her to see my son, she was like, oh, we're busy, oh, he's not home, he's at his friend's house. She would just make stuff up, she didn't want to deal with me, and it's just been causing more problems.
So y'all's past tensions have been coming up more, and for that reason you feel like it's just gotten worse since the parenting classes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so could you elaborate for me some of those arguments that were brought up?
Yes, ma'am. One of the biggest ones was a couple weeks ago, and one of the guys was drunk, and I happened to be drunk, but not as much, and, I would just go with my friends and, drink from time to time, and she would consider me an alcoholic, and I don't think I was an alcoholic, I wasn't to the point where it was an everyday thing, because I still felt control over it,
Okay, so she brought up your relationship with alcohol in the past. Do you think that relationship remains the same, or has it changed at all? What do you think?
Well, I mean, I still go out and drink sometimes, but I still feel like I'm in control,
Okay, so do you think that's something we should address in these sessions? I'm trying to see if this does have an impact in your relationship with your family.
No, ma'am. I think I'm in total control, and if I say I can stop drinking, I would stop drinking.
Okay. So could you elaborate more on other arguments that were brought up?
Well, yes, ma'am. For example, like, she just started calling me lazy and this and that. Like, she just started going off, like, little things, I just don't understand. And I work 50 hours a week, and I tried to provide for my family, I tried to get every need, every want they needed, I was just trying to make them happy, and she would just say how I wouldn't spend time with her or with my son, I wouldn't take him out to eat, and I wouldn't be there for them, But I don't feel like that was the case. I was just trying so hard to be a good dad, a good, hard-working dad, and provide for my family.
Okay, well, it does sound like you were trying very hard to just provide for your family. And I can see how balancing work and stress and family could be difficult for a man. So, why do you think she has brought up all those past tensions?
Well, honestly, I just found out a couple weeks ago that she has a new boyfriend, and they've been dating for some time, and that kind of matches her aggression towards me, because at first during those classes everything was nice and smooth, and out of nowhere she started getting a little bit aggressive towards me, and I didn't understand why at first, but I kind of do now. And the few times that I've seen my son, he's been kind of like afraid of me, and I don't understand why, and it hurts as a father, like, to see your child be afraid of you, I've never hit my child, I've always loved him and cared for him, and I feel like this new guy in my ex-wife's life is kind of manipulating her and my son, to thinking that I'm a bad guy and I'm a bad person and I shouldn't be seeing them anymore, which I don't really understand,
Okay, so you don't know why if he's saying those things, you don't know why he would be saying those things?
Honestly, I think he's jealous, He might think that I'm trying to get back with her and recover our family, But in my case, I'm not trying to do that, And we have our differences and we settle them, And I still want to be there for my child, and that's all I want. I want to be there for my son,
Okay. So how would you feel about bringing this person in to the parenting classes with you and the baby's mother?
Well, I think it would be very awkward, you know. I feel like the issue's between me and her, you know, and I understand that he's manipulating her, but I don't know, honestly.
I understand, Mr. Francisco, but I do recall you saying in last sessions, and you say quite often, how you would do anything to see your son again and to spend quality time with him and to just be okay with your family. However, you have stopped going to these parenting classes. How do you think that's going to affect things? Is it going to make it better? Is it going to make it worse?
Honestly, I know it's gonna make it better, but I feel like it's making it worse, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I just don't know what to do. Like, I want to see my son, but I feel like going to these classes is just making everything worse.
Okay. Well, it does sound like this boyfriend is a new image in your son's life. So it's just one of those things that you can't really have control over, and he will continue to be in your son's life if this relationship is pretty serious. So how are you going to deal with that? How are you going to try to work with this person?
Well, I haven't thought about that yet. I've been pushing it to the side and ignoring it, kind of, you know?
Okay, so would you be willing to think about that, about what I mentioned about bringing this person into the parenting classes? Because it does sound like it's going to be the three of y'all trying to put your disagreements aside and just work together for the child.
Yes, ma'am. It was something I have to think about, but I'm leaning more to the yes side because I'm willing to do anything for my son, you know? So I'm just going to go ahead and say yes. If it helps me see my child, then I'm willing to do it, you know? It's a hard decision, but I'm willing to go through it.
Well, I'm glad you have that attitude. And it does seem like you really are someone that is willing to do whatever it takes to see your son. So I'm glad you have that mentality, and I'm glad you've agreed to bring this person into the parenting classes. So I'm going to go ahead and put you down in our list of goals is coming back to the parenting classes after leaving them with a new member involved. Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Okay. All right, so I'll give you a call and I'll let you know when your next parenting class is, and I hope everything really does go well and you keep me updated, okay?
Yes, ma'am, I really appreciate it.
All right, well, thank you for coming in, Mr. Francisco.
And thank you, Ms. Calzada.